It is a truism. It is just a statement of fact that the Republican Party has a strategy. The conservative movement, more so than the party itself, the conservative movement has a strategy to ensure that white supremacy is never held accountable in this country. To accomplish that, they are making every one of their followers, every one of their constituents terrified of words, keywords like critical race theory, keywords like white supremacy. And in the state of Wisconsin, they have now gone as far as to ban a list of words that should not be used that properly describe the nature of white supremacy. I want us to take a listen to this clip from the recount as they go down the list of the absurd words that are now being outlawed in the state of Wisconsin. Take a listen in.
WWTF. Wisconsin. What the f***? A Wisconsin legislator wants to go even further than banning the alleged teaching of critical race theory in the state's schools, which the Wisconsin Assembly passed in a party line vote on Tuesday. State Representative Chuck Witchkers, one of the authors of the bill, also attached an addendum, which includes a list of terms and concepts that would violate the bill if it became law. Among those words, woke, whiteness, white supremacy, structural bias, structural racism, systemic bias, and systemic racism. The bill would also bar abolitionist teaching, as well as concepts like equity, inclusivity, multiculturalism, and patriarchy, as well as social justice and cultural awareness. The measure would apply to both instruction provided to students in the classroom, as well as training provided to school employees. It's the latest escalation in the GOP culture war. The proposal has virtually no chance of becoming law, as if it lands on Democratic Governor Tony Evers' desk, a former superintendent of public instruction, it will almost certainly be vetoed.
About this, interesting. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Here's an interesting thing about this. The thing that I like that bothers me about that recount coverage is the dismissal of the possibility of this becoming law because they currently have a Democratic governor. But you got to understand, Wisconsin is a different kind of state. They just got past Governor Scott Walker, the Republican, who all but destroyed the unions there in the state of Wisconsin. So it would be nothing for this test run, for this to be a trial balloon, where when a Republican like Scott Walker gets back into the governor's seat, they just bring this legislation back. And when they bring it back around again, David, nobody is going to be shocked. Nobody is going to be appalled by it because they've already run it this time, right? So they get the shock out of the way this time. And then when a Republican governor is in power, they're going to pass the legislation. What do you think, David, since you popped up on screen?
I think, good morning, everyone. This screams like I belong to the KKK, or I have allegiances to the Proud Boys. This just, this is like screaming it from the top of their lungs and just not holding back. It's not even coded at this point. And what's even more blatant in the earlier segment with Boebert is I just keep comparing it to what happened with Gozar and how quickly they moved on Gozar, but how, according to reports, Pelosi and I guess the establishment or leadership is more worried about Boebert being able to fundraise if she loses, which she's doing anyway. So I don't really understand, besides the fact that it's just Islamophobia versus racism, which
I don't know the reason to their madness in terms of which fights they decide to fight. But in this case, man, I really do know that the Democratic Party cannot be caught with its pants down. These folks aren't playing with us. They're making it very clear what they want to do all the way around the board. And not only in this instance with Ilhan Omar, Lauren Boebert, and in Wisconsin and the banning of certain words and phrases, but also with what's going on in the Supreme Court, what's going on across the school boards across this country. They're doing everything that they can to turn this country into a theocratic fascist state. And they're bold about it. They're proud of it. And I wonder oftentimes, we'll take this caller. I wonder oftentimes if the Democratic Party is willfully ignorant, or complicit, or all the above.